got some really, really sad news for former college quarterback Colt Brennan. He passed away at the age of 37. And this is a very crazy situation, guys. So do pay attention. His father, Terry Brennan, said that he had ingested something laced with fentanyl and he never regained consciousness. See, there's your one lesson right there. Do not accept things from other people. You just don't know what's in it. And the craziest part about it, Mario, this is what blows my mind, is that hours before any of this even happened, Colt Brennan tried to enter a detox program at an area hospital, but he was turned away because they had no beds available. That's just insane. I'll get to that in a minute because I got a damn problem with that. Um, he got into a car. A little bit of background on him. He got into a car accident back in 2010, which left him with a brain injury. Um, it made it very, very difficult for him to continue his football career because he ended up getting drafted by the Washington football team, who were then called the Redskins back in 2008. But those injuries prevented him from playing, and they ended up releasing him within his rookie year, so he never got to play in the NFL. He tried to play in the USFL, the Canadian Football League, and the Arena Football League, but he just didn't. He couldn't do it. Um, and yeah, Mario, what's crazy is that he was doing drugs for quite some time. His dad says he wasn't the same after all of that, which I mean, I don't blame him, but at the same time, drugs just isn't the way to go. He had a series of legal troubles. He got pulled over for driving under the influence. He's gotten arrested a couple of times while being intoxicated. He was causing disturbance in hotels and stuff like that. So yeah, he really wasn't in the best mental state, but at the same time, you just don't want to see people like this. Um, and I have a quote from Hawaii Athletic Department. It says, and I quote, "It's hard to put into words the impact that Colt Brennan had on Rainbow Warrior fans and the people of Hawaii. He was a phenomenal player and provided us with some of the greatest sports memories we'll ever have, but he was more than that. For all that he accomplished on the football field and the adulation he received for it, he always remained among the people. He never turned down an autograph. He never turned down a picture with somebody. He inspired everyone, from our Kelki to our Kupana. We had a warrior mentality on the field, but a true aloha spirit off of it. Today is an extremely tough day. Our thoughts and prayers are with the entire Brennan Ohana, and we mourn together with all those across Hawaii and Rainbow Warrior Nation who were touched by Cole." Um, so yeah, Mario, it is very, very unfortunate. He had a very huge impact on Hawaii. And a little bit more background on him. Um, he had 4,000 passing yards three times. One of them was 5,549 yards in 2006, which is truly an incredible mark, Mario. Then he set a single season record with touchdown passes with 58, and then that was broken by Joe Burrow back in 2019, so not too long ago, actually. He's fourth all time in career touchdown passes with 131. So it is very, very unfortunate. And he finished sixth in Heisman voting in 2006 and third in 2007. And that 2007 team finished 12-0 in the regular season and 10th in the Associated Press Bowl, and they lost to Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. And before I continue, the source for this was ESPN. So actually, before I continue, I just want to give a moment of silence to Colt Brennan. Thank you. So let me go first, okay? First of all, may Cole Brennan rest in peace. Condolences to his family, condolences to Hawaii because he had a very big impact on that community. Let me tell you something, okay, Mario? The biggest problem I got with this is not with the drugs, okay? Well, obviously that is a problem, but here's my problem. He tried to tech himself in, but they didn't have enough beds. I don't know about you, but that screams problem. Obviously, I know there's the pandemic still going on, and that's fine. You know what I mean? There's restrictions and all that, but my problem with it is like that's a serious issue. You know what I mean? That is a very, very serious issue. Drug addiction, that type of stuff. I don't know if I've preached just a lot about drug addiction. I've had my bout with it. Luckily, I was able to get the help that I need. But come on, now. You're gonna sit up here and tell me you didn't have enough beds? Like, I don't know. I have a damn problem with that. I really do think that needs to be looked at. I'm not so sure what the situation was, if there wasn't another hospital nearby or whatever, but I don't know. Something about that screams problem to me. As for Colt Brennan himself, drugs is a really it's a really bad thing, Mario. Honestly, I get it. He got into a car accident. It hurt his head, and he just wasn't the same at that. I get that. But from personal experience, drugs just isn't the way to go with it. It's not going to help you any. But I will give him credit for one thing. He tried. He tried to quit. And that's the thing with drug addicts. You can't just sit up there and tell a drug addict to quit right then and there. You can't do that because what are they going to do? They're just going to go right back to doing it. You know what I mean? You can't tell a drug addict right on the spot to quit drugs. That's a whole process. That's a whole process. Sometimes it takes years for some people to get over that. Some people it takes a month, some two. It takes a while. It's a process. You gotta get help for it. You gotta put your head back in the right place. You just can't tell someone right then and there, just stop. Because it's not gonna happen. You gotta make that happen. You know what I mean? Um, so I'll give him credit for that at least. He tried to stop. He checked himself in. He was doing good. His dad was talking about how he was checking himself in, and there's a quote actually that I missed. It says in that quote, he was really into it. It involved a lot of physical activity, and he liked it. He was working with soldiers who had come back from Afghanistan and Iraq with similar problems. He was doing quite well with it for 4 months. Then something happened, and he went to the dark side, and it was just not good. So he was doing good for himself, and then it just and ended up kicking him. It ended up going right back into him. Um, and yeah, and the thing he took, which was laced in fentanyl. Let this be a lesson to you guys. One, don't do drugs, okay? Because fentanyl is extremely, extremely deadly. I remember my dad was talking to me, right? I guess one of his because he works at RIPTA, he works for the Transit Authority here in Rhode Island, and he was talking about how one of his friends who drives the buses with him, one of them had fentanyl, and what ended up happening was it got released into the air, and they actually had to evacuate the bus because if that stuff, you don't even have to take it. If it goes up into your system, it'll kill you. So they had to pull over the bus right where it was and just get the hell out of there. So fentanyl is extremely deadly. You don't even have to take it. If it goes into your system, it kills you. Enough of it anyway. But again, you know what I mean? Let this be a lesson to you guys. First of all, don't do drugs. All right. If you have mental health issues, you know what I mean, or if you're going through depression or whatever the case might be, talk to your friends, talk to your family, or talk to a doctor, whatever helps you. Don't go to drugs. You're gonna end up like Colt Brennan. And obviously, I'm not gonna taint his name about it, but at the same time, you know what I mean. Like that can happen to you. You can get killed from this stuff. You got to be careful. It's just as simple as that. You know what I mean? Now with the fentanyl thing, I'm not sure if that had anything to do with his him mentally or whatnot, but he has had a past of it, so one could assume that that's the case. But again, I don't know. But I know there's other people that we've talked about out in society. I know recently DMX passed away of he passed away of a drug overdose. He was doing drugs for a long, long time, and the same thing here. He tried to quit, and he just kept on doing it anyways. There's just so many people out there, and again, you need help. You gotta go get some help. Drugs will only alleviate the pain for a certain amount of time before it creates your own problems. It's only gonna make your problems much worse. So with that being said, there's really not much else for me to say. Again, rest in peace to Colt Brennan. Yeah, I hope you rest in peace. Condolences to his family. Condolences to Hawaii. And let this be a lesson to you guys. You know what I mean? Make the right choices. Don't do drugs. And if you need help, get it. Don't resort to drugs because that's just only going to screw you up even more.
Yeah, I'll take it from there. First of all, rest in peace to Colt Brennan, his family and friends. Condolences to them as well. Yeah, Nate, look, um, first of all, I want to focus a little before I get to like the whole problem with the drugs and everything. I want to focus to his football career, okay? When I look at like exactly how great he did in college, and then you think about like all the injuries he had, his case is a case of what could have been. What
Right,
could have
right.
what could Cole Brennan have been if he didn't get hurt? If the Washington football team, or at the time the Redskins, didn't get rid of him, what could have been? And again, it really is unfortunate, that he had to deal with those injuries because he was a great college football player, man. The fact that he held that touchdown record for that long, and it took Joe Burrow to beat it, who just got drafted a couple years ago, that's really is something, man. That is a record. The fact that he has surpassed 4,000 yards 3 seasons, that is incredible. The fact that he has been a top three Heisman finalist, that is amazing. So who knows what he could have been, if he didn't get hurt. Um, Now going back to the whole problem with the drug with him and the drugs, right? Fentanyl is a very dangerous drug, mate. It really is. Going to that. But going to the actual like drug addiction itself, I never want to judge people like this, you know? I never do because
Right,
it's so
absolutely.
hard to quit any type of addiction, you know? Whether it's drugs, alcohol, whether it's eating unhealthy, you know, any type of addiction, video games, whatever it might be. It's so hard to quit those addictions, okay? Because you do it so many times that it ends up becoming a norm, you know? And you got to figure out how to change your whole life. You got to figure out how to change those types of plans. And it really is hard to do, Nate. It really is. Um, but yeah,
Absolutely.
but you said something that is completely true. You can't just tell somebody who has an addiction to quit. It's a whole process. They have to go through the process, and it could take years for people. Like you said, you're absolutely correct. Um, but going to Brennan, right, and going to the whole drug addiction thing, I completely agree with you. I think the fact that they said like, look, there's no bed, so we can't bring you in. They should have found an alternative for him. And who knows, maybe they did, and Colt just didn't want to hear it and left. We don't know. But that's a big problem I have with drug addiction. Is the rehab facilities and is rehab itself and these types of like detox programs. The fact that they make you pay, I just don't think
Yeah,
that's
that shouldn't be
I
a thing.
don't think that's cool. I don't. If so, it should be relatively cheap, okay? Because it should not be. You shouldn't have like. Because here's the thing: these people made mistakes. I completely agree with it. And there are going to be people in the comments who have been like, they're going to have to pay for their mistakes. If they want to get better, they're going to have to pay. But here's the problem: some people don't have that type of money.
Exactly.
Some people are homeless and they're doing this and these doing these types of things and they want to benefit their life. But how are you going to do that if you have no money? You know what I'm saying? Or if these rehab programs are just going to keep charging you? I don't think rehab should cost money. These are people who
Neither should I.
actually help, you know, and and rehab programs are collecting off of it. I don't think that's cool. Okay. Now, obviously, you need a good support group with you as well. When you go through these types of addictions, you need a good support. You need to be around the right people to help you. You know, you can't stay with the same people that are bringing you into these types of habits. You need to have the right people around you that are willing to say no to you, that are not doing these same types of things as you. You know what I'm saying? So when you really look at it, I really do feel for Colt Brennan. I do. I really do feel for him. You know, I feel bad. Again, I can't believe came to this. And 37 is way too young to die, Nate, you know? But he tried to get help. And every single time he tried, it just wasn't successful with him. You know, there was the car accident, you know, then that really changed his life. There was, hell, maybe the fact that he couldn't play football. Maybe football was something that football was something he really loved to do, maybe, and he wanted to continue it, but he couldn't. That really is something, too. You see a lot of people, you know, who grow up in bad neighborhoods, they grow up in a poor situation, and sports is their way out, you know? And when you don't have that type of way out, it really does affect you. That's why sports is so important. It's bigger than sometimes sports is just bigger than the sport itself, you know? Sometimes sports is the only way out, you know what I'm saying? Or it's the best way out for some people. And that's why when you really look at like a bunch of charities and foundations, they build more basketball hoops or they build more football fields or whatever to get these people away from whatever situation they're going through and to get them in a certain position. You look at Josh Jackson, he was homeless, you know, and football was his way out. He ended up playing good enough to get a scholarship at the University of Alabama. You look at people like I'm trying to think here, Nate. Um, what do you call it? You look at people who end up taking a wrong turn, like Ryan Leaf, who was a great football
Right.
player, but he ended up dealing with problems of his own and it ended up affecting his play. You look at people like Michael Orr, another guy who was homeless. You look at people who grew up around gangs and everything like that, and they turned to sports to benefit their lives. So sports really is a game changer. It really is a life changer in certain ways. And the fact that he got hurt and he just didn't get his opportunity to play football, that could have possibly been a reason why he turned to this right here, you know? So I really do feel for Cole Brennan. It just seemed like he couldn't get clean, you know, no matter how much he tried, it just couldn't happen. And for all the people in the comments who are like, you're gonna like who are gonna say something like these people they don't want to get clean or whatever. That's not necessarily the case.
Yeah, right.
People really do want to get clean, except when you don't have a good support system around you, or you don't have the opportunities to get clean, you know, or you don't have the resources around you to get clean. It really is tough to get clean. And some people can do it, and some people need that type of support. It's just as simple as that. But again, I just think there are a lot of problems with like rehab programs that like actually you happen the pet
Right,
to
absolutely.
get clean. It's just not right.
Right,
You know, some people are fortunate enough to have good friends and good family to help them to keep them clean. You know, but other people just don't. So it really is unfortunate. So again, you know what? I'm not really gonna put blame on like the detox program or anything like that. I really don't want to do that. The main focus right now shouldn't be put blame on anybody. It should be to focus on Colt Brennan and to focus on, you know, his legacy as a college football player. It was a great legacy he had at the University of Hawaii. Great legacy, you know, and nobody could take that away from him. He will forever be in that Hawaii record books. He will forever be known as one of the best college quarterbacks. You know, when you do stuff, make accomplishments like this, 3 different seasons with 4,000 yards, 5,500 yards in one season, 58 TDs in one season, top three in the Heisman. Nobody can take away that legacy for you. So, with that being said, you know, rest in peace to Cole Brennan. Condolences to his family as well.